Hey guys, Barrett here, Respective Tech. Today we're going to be talking about my new e-bike, which is called the Talaria Sting. A lot of you guys have been asking for me to do a review. Today I'll just do a bit of an overview and kind of tell you about the bike and what it's all about. And if you would like a full review, drop your comments down below. So what I have here is a Talaria Sting. It's a 6,000 watt, well, 6,000 watts with this combination of battery, motor, and controller. But if you upgrade the battery and the controller, you can have more power. But I've had this thing for about a month and a half, 2 months now, and I must say that I really do love it. This thing is a blast. I've ripped around the city. I haven't had any trouble. I usually come and rip around the park, but of course you don't want to be a jerk about it. So if you're on the trails and there's other people, don't be going 60 kilometers an hour. Keep your speed down. But let's talk about this thing a little bit. So first things first, you got some nice air shocks here. They're D&M Volcano, so these units do come with different shocks, but this one has the D&M shock. You got a headlight on the front, you got disc brakes, dual disc brakes front and back. They're Talaria branded, so the same brand as the bike here. Your forks are adjustable for rebound and suspension. You have your start button here, which it won't go forward. Once you've turned the ignition on, you got to hit that start button for it to move. You got a little display over here, which you can change from eco mode to sport mode. Eco mode, the max speed's probably about 35 kilometers an hour. And then for me, because I'm a heavier guy, in sport mode, I think I've had about 66 as the top speed for me, 66 kilometers per hour. I'm not sure what that is in miles, 40 something I believe. And then you have a little horn here, which is really loud. The seat's actually quite comfortable. It's pretty plush. Even though I'm a heavier guy, it's still very comfortable for me to ride for an extended period of time. The grips, nice and grippy. As you can see, even though my key's on, if the kickstand is down, the throttle won't work. Same thing with your brakes. If your brakes are on, the throttle won't work. I might actually deactivate the brake one because I want to learn how to wheelie this thing properly, and to do that you need access to the back brake, which doesn't do you much good if it deactivates the throttle every time you touch it. So I might be deactivating the rear brake one. But here you have where normally your gas tank would be. That's where your battery is. It's just got this one connector here that you can take off, and then down in here you also have a breaker that you can shut off. But the battery's pretty big, and I don't know off the top of my head what the size of the battery is. I'll maybe just put it up here in lettering. But there's the battery. It's nice and open here to help keep everything cool. There's your electric motor. Then you got a nice heavy duty rear suspension. It is chain driven with a gearbox. So there is other models called a Sur-On, which is a totally different brand, but it's basically an identical bike with some differences. It has a primary belt drive, whereas this has a gearbox, and then the secondary is chain on the Sur-On. So far, I haven't had any issues with the tires, but I would imagine if I want to go off-roading, I'd probably want better tires than this, and probably better suspension. Again, I am a heavier guy, so the suspension is a little soft for me, but for, you know, ripping around the park, ripping around the city, works perfect. I haven't had any issues. I haven't bottomed it out yet. So that pretty much sums up the bike, guys. There isn't a whole lot to it. It's a pretty simple design. Works very well though. Basically how I like to sum the bike up is it's like an overbuilt mountain bike with an electric motor. It's kind of in between a dirt bike and a mountain bike. Some of these parts are even mountain bike parts. Like these suspension can be used on a mountain bike. You can use mountain bike forks on this thing. You can use mountain bike rear suspension as well, mountain bike tires, mountain bike rims. One thing I want to point out about the Talaria is it does have a slightly wider rear swing arm, so you can use wider tires than something like a Sur-On or the Segway X260. So that's kind of one of the reasons I went with the Talaria, that and the gearbox as well. It's also a little bit beefier than the Sur-On, which I liked because I'm a heavier dude, so that worked out for me. If you guys do want to see a full review on this bike, drop your comments down below. But thanks for checking out this video. Let me know what you would like to know about the bike down in the comments as well. I'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers.